bodega set up in our office in New York with all the products that are live on the site. And it's like a nice little showroom for people that come visit us and new brands that are pitching us. Like in normal kind of times, they would definitely come to our office and even do like live pitches to get their product on Bubble, which is great and super informative. We love that when brands kind of get in our face and tell us more.
Here we are, another open dialogue. Today we have Jess Young, founder of Bubble Goods. Would you like me to say the goods? What's the proper brand element?
Bubble, just Bubble.
Just Bubble.
Just Bubble.
Jess, could you share with the 1:37 p.m. viewers and or listeners and or readers what Bubble is?
Sure. So we're the go-to marketplace for clean label health foods across the US, where brands can ship directly to customers, really being like that D2C point for brands. So definitely think like Etsy or Airbnb for healthy foods. And we have a really strict standard of approval for brands that sell on our platform. We actually don't allow products to sell with us that contain refined sugars, dyes, gums, preservatives, so that customers can really have this like interface with a brand that has standards and takes a lot of that guesswork out in terms of, what's really in my healthy food. And then from there, they can shop, paleo, vegan, AIP diet, things like that.
That's fun. You're the trusted source. So if they know it's on Bubble, they don't have to really worry about it. They know it is a specific standard of ethics.
Exactly.
I love that.
You don't really need to bother with like turning the, package over. All that work is done for you. We even taste test all the products. So that's like a pretty key element too, to like for a product to gain that stamp of approval, they have to pass our taste test as well.
That sounds like a really rigorous piece of the business and probably not fun at all.
It's like the most fun part. We have these things in our office every Friday. It's like mini Expo West. We love it. So yeah, I mean, it can definitely also not be the most glamorous part. Like, trust me, we've had some things come in that are super cute. They're well designed, but, like taste like cardboard, right? So for us, it's really around like that customer experience. If you want to buy something online, you want that to be trusted. Like, oh, it's going to taste good. Like things I find on Bubble are good for me. They also taste good, but also it like reflects on our brand community in a poor way. So like if something doesn't taste good, it's like not that experience for like someone to come back and purchase, and that reflects badly kind of on everyone else who operates. So yeah, we want to say we're kind of up there with Sephora in terms of standards and experience, like with how tight that is.
Totally, as you should be. You have been in the business of delicious things for quite some time. Like before you founded Bubble, what were you doing?
Yeah, I've been in it a while. I started my career actually like literally in the kitchen, cooking and fine dining in New York City. So went to cooking school, inadvertently dropped out of college where I was studying biochemistry, took a total left turn into the food space. And then really when I saw sort of e-com meets food, a lot of impact there. I wanted to totally dive into that space. It was another big like light bulb moment for me in my career. So yeah, I've been in it for a while. I, was at an early meal kit company that was one of those kind of first concepts that got funded in a major way. Unfortunately, the company didn't know about like consumer growth. So great product, great brand, just never went anywhere. Unfortunately, learned a lot about what not to do at that company. Thank goodness, like not on my own dime.
Fair.
Was at Hugh Kitchen for a bit, which is great. They have that amazing paleo chocolate product, have done some other kind of consulting or advising positions in food. And then I think like most notably was at Daily Harvest as employee number 1. And I was head of product and operations. So built out everything from like our supply chain product. And then obviously like the hardest part, which is, shipping frozen product to people and working on that and living in warehouses. So
insanely complex.
Yeah, very complex. And then, left Daily Harvest to launch Bubble after we closed our Series B, seeing a really big white space for brands really trying to do what we were doing at Daily Harvest, but didn't have the sort of digital know-how, and also didn't make sense for, someone that had 3 or 4 SKUs to make an online play on their own, and like understanding the metrics there, but also understanding that, what's on the digital space for the consumer, there wasn't enough either. So we really wanted to kind of fix that and bring products and people together in that quality way, which is how Bubble was born.
Totally. And you had, as a marketplace, you had the challenge of trying to get brands to trust you, especially when you're actually imposing some pretty rigorous standards on them because you don't want shit on your platform, while also building the brand and trust with a community. So how did you approach that? Because it's chicken and the egg, like you need one and the other, or simultaneously it's tough.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like any kind of marketplace play, especially if you actually are building for something that doesn't exist on one of those sides, you're kind of dead in the water. So fortunately, we were answering a solution that was needed for both sides, right? On the customer side, like wanting all this stuff in one place, basically, and like the discovery and like finding brands that they've never heard about, but they're like these dedicated like health nuts. I'm definitely one of them. When I land in LA, my first visit is Erewhon, and then usually like In-N-Out Burger, but ultimately I hit up Erewhon.
Order doesn't really matter. It's fine.
Yeah. The double whammy there's the key. And then on the flip side, like the brand side was really what I saw like kind of the biggest issue, where brands trying to get to customers. And so honestly started because again, I've been in this space a long time. And so there were like 10 brands I was actually building Bubble kind of for and using as like test cases and stuff. And they were like friends of brands. I mentored Chobani's incubator program. And so kind of plugged in there. A lot of those brands were some of the first ones to join the platform, step with those standards. We did a lot of testing with them in the early days with like, again, just orders. Our platform plugs into Shopify, ShipStation, and WooCommerce. So testing all that with the brands in the early days. So, just from the space. And then kind of now speaking to scaling that on both sides, that's a different animal. We have like a lot of bottlenecks we're currently looking to address, especially on the brand side. One of the things we're working on solving as a business is we can only really onboard 3 to 5 brands per week to get them live on our site. We have over 50 brands per week filling out our Sell on Bubble page, which we've actually hidden in the footer of our site.
But somehow
advertising on. It's very much like Bubble is in, kind of word of mouth. It's in like every CPG group getting passed around as like sales are going up to get on the platform. So like the word is out, but like we actually can't even bring the brands on fast enough, which is something we're working on.
Problem.
Especially through COVID. Like it's just wild. The brands more than ever know that customers are online, and they're like, who are those players for me to like reach those customers? So it's interesting space right now for sure.
I can only imagine. It's like on some sides, obviously doom and gloom. A lot of people are having a really tough time. It's unfortunate, but then there's sectors and industries where it's, of course, they're taking off. Like, of course. So I'm glad you're navigating that in a positive way. Well, depending on the day, probably when I ask you, you feel it's positive or not, but totally get it.
Yeah. Like any business going into like in March of this year, we're like, holy shit. Like I was planning on fundraising that totally was tabled, like, all this crazy stuff. So it's been a wild year for sure.
Pre-COVID, I know outside of like the taste testing, you would do a pretty fun event that I had the pleasure of judging, and that was an internal pitch competition. Can you talk more about what that served as? And I don't know if it was a consistent thing or if I was just blessed one time and was able to be a judge, because it was just fun. So I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, that was just like a fun internal thing we did with our team. Like, again, we've been a really, really small, lean, mean team. But, we see hundreds of products, like thousands of products, hundreds of brands. Like last year, we're kind of coming in the door, and a lot of the team at Bubble, we sift through these products, but they would always come up with ideas, and we would like in our weekly taste test with brands, like get them through the platform. Throw out ideas. And so I was like, hey, this would be fun one night after work. Let's just do an internal pitch competition. Everyone like come and, I think it was like $100 cash prize or something we did, put it on the table. We asked a few like trusted friends, like, would you want to come by and like judge this thing?
And they all canceled and there I was.
Yeah. And so, I think, you were there. We had someone who was an exec over at L'Oreal, like beauty, totally different kind of vertical, but a few people come by and judge, and that was fun. But yeah, it's an internal pitch competition because everyone has ideas about, products coming in. So we're like, let's just have a fun night. So I think the product that won was like a healthy take on Dunkaroos. I want to say.
That's right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. That's such a good idea. Nostalgia, deliciousness. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. And we judged it based on like the requirement, or not requirements, but like the things that we thought would do well on Bubble, like in terms of sales, and obviously everything would be clean label and things like that. But the healthy Dunkaroos like took the cash prize that night.
Makes sense. I think that's a great segue to maybe address the elephant over your right shoulder. You do have a pretty good experience with what things taste good, what might sell well on Bubble. So that kind of led you to developing a SKU. Can you talk to us about what is pictured behind you?
Yeah, so I have a few jars of Hella. I also have I can give you the audience a little sneak peek, like a mini version of what's normally at our office. I'm in like my home office setup right now through COVID. But yeah, we usually have like a full bodega set up in our office in New York with all the products that are live on the site. And it's like a nice little showroom for people that come visit us and new brands that are pitching us. Like in normal kind of times, they would definitely come to our office and even do like live pitches to get their product on Bubble, which is great and super informative. We love that when brands kind of get in our face and tell us more. But yeah, part of me launching Bubble was also, I was considering potentially launching some products on my own. Again, I've been in this space a long time. I know the like consumer that we go after so well, and how to get to them. And so, we ended up, when launching the platform, launching our own in-house brand, really wanting to position ourselves as one of the products that are also on Bubble. We work with all these brands, but we also like them to know that we are a brand ourselves on the platform. And so it's also a great way for us to like test and trial and also like gift product, because it's not always easy to do that with like a marketplace. So the product we launched in-house is called Hella. It's a vegan paleo version, basically, of Nutella, classic staple. And it only has 3 ingredients, hazelnut, cacao, and coconut sugar. We actually just went in stock with Hella a couple of weeks ago. We've been out of stock this whole year because we source our hazelnuts from Piedmont, Italy. And that was one of the big areas affected by COVID. So we could not get our supply out. And picking up a new supplier in the middle of COVID was nearly impossible. And so we finally locked in a different supplier, ran Hella, and it's like back in stock. We had like a few thousand people, I want to say, on that wait list for just that product. So it was great to like get that momentum going again.
Yeah, massive weight off your shoulders, because I can only imagine the stress, because it was a huge hit, and it still obviously is a huge hit, and it was selling really well. So that kind of hiccup is frustrating.
Yeah, for sure. Crazy year. Again, we kind of have like a multi-pronged business. Like, yeah, we have our private label, but the core of the business is the marketplace side and like those sales. So fortunately, like the business was not super affected, which is great. So we were able to also like bring on some additional verticals. Everything on Bubble currently is shelf stable. So pantry goods, proteins, nut butters, like all those, like tons of snacks. That's like one of our highest selling categories, if not the still. Through the pandemic, shifted to like pantry items, which is interesting. Less snacks and like on the go items naturally, because people weren't on the go or snacking as much. They're in their house cooking. And so, which has actually kind of shifted back, which is nice to see. But we're actually gearing up for this next year to release our perishable vertical and zip code functionality. So brands will be able to ship regionally, access full grocery on Bubble as a customer in the next few months.
That's awesome. That's really exciting.
Yeah, it's a lot. We're not over here just kind of like churning nut butter, Yeah. There's a lot going on.
Do you have plans for other products that you're developing in-house as well, I assume?
Yeah, for sure. I can't not make product in my career. So, I love it. We're definitely focused on these next like big business goals. Our biggest goal for like H121 is, really focusing on every brand that's on the platform right now, and like the few more that are going to come in, to see like a significant jump in sales. So we really want to make sure that like everyone who's on starts to see like a major lift before we do anything else. That's sort of like our goal, is to like be, again, for customers, this like trusted source, but also for brands, like their number one sales channel as like a better for you brand online. So we're definitely like sticking to that in the next few months. And then we'll kind of like launch some more product and things there. But yeah, I mean, over time, we get this question a lot. Like, are you guys going to do what some other retailers do? Like, see what sells well, and then just keep launching products until you have like basically everything on your site, your private label, which you'll see like a lot of multi-brand retailers do. That's actually not our goal. We definitely are all about an independent food system being the future of food, and it being very varied, and people that make what they make being experts at that. And that's sort of like the key to our growth. And like, again, what we believe is the future of food. So we, over the next few years, you'll only see maybe like maximum 5 products from the Bubble line, out of like the tens of thousands of products that are coming from other brands.
This is probably a challenging question, not totally fair.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and ask it in a democratic way.
Sure.
What has been your favorite product that you've discovered as a result of Bubble? Actually, what is one of your favorite products that you've discovered? I don't want to put the pressure of like picking your exact favorite child, but
sure,
if there's one that jumps to mind.
There's a few. Okay, so I can like stay on the like Democratic PC train. You know, there are a few. I'm gonna name like a couple. There's one brand that was like really touching for me to get to work with again, because I work with them back at Hugh Kitchen actually when curating like the third party products. And so to get to be able to work with them again, but actually like for us now, we have this like national platform that we're shipping across the country, and like bring a brand like that back on, having worked with them before and their company mission. It's a woman, the company's called Healing Home Foods, and the woman started this for the products for her son who has autism and couldn't have refined sugars and needed to have a gluten-free diet. So she's actually crafted these amazing, really like nutty kind of based granolas and nut crackers that are amazing. She has these crackers called pizza thins that literally taste like pizza. They're so good. Buy them right now. Don't even think about it. And so I just love her story, and to like be able to work with her again and be a champion for her to like really sell online is something that's like a personal mission for me, and like her and her brand and products to get like in as many homes as possible. And the product is so good. So love them. Huge fan of a company called Fly by Jing that's reinventing Chinese staples in the same way that at one point, like Italian home goods and products weren't as elevated in the American kitchen. She's doing the same thing with clean label products. So she's got like Szechuan chili oil and some other products. Yes, like love that product. And like, again, her mission behind it. It's like a staple. And like her favorite way to actually serve that product is over ice cream. I also love a company called ProMix, and they have clean protein, which is one of the hardest things to find. You know, they have also some like children's products. So they have protein for adults and all these like clean products, but then they also have these like really great protein puff crisps. So it's sort of like a Rice Krispie, but it's made with protein puffs instead of like a grain of rice, and little cacao bars for kids. Yeah, those are some of the 3 that come to mind that are and like have cool stories.
I asked for 1 and I got 3, so that's a huge bonus for me. So thank you. That's incredible. Always giving.
Your shopping list.
You're a giver. You're a giver. That's for sure. You mentioned it earlier, but what are your plans for the future of Bubble? I know you said you're expanding into perishables. What's the more robust picture going into 2021?
Yeah, we have a lot, you know, but yeah, like our core goals as a company are like significant brand sales. So we have sort of like quotas for what every brand should be selling. We're really ramping that up. We have a lot of tech fixes that are going out the door in the next few months in terms of like the customer experience. So when you visit Bubble, you're going to be greeted with like a totally different experience. And if you go to bubblegoods.com now, it's very much our MVP experience. So like what we launched with last year. So we have a ton coming on that front. What we learned over the past year is that we really have 2 sets of users that come in, people that are like, I ran out of food, I want to like restock my pantry, and they shop in a traditional grocery way where it's like they visit the snack section, they visit pantry goods, and they just like find cooler, better alternatives and fill up their cart. And then we have a really strong other set of users that shop by their lifestyle. So they're like, I'm vegan, I'm plant-based, I'm paleo, and I want to shop that way in all different kind of grocery verticals, and fill their cart out that way. So we're really building our experience to shop either way. Like, do you want to shop this way or that way? And then as we, again, expand perishable and have like hyper localization with our distribution coming out, you'll also be prompted with like your zip code, and you can access things on the perishable front that are from your region, local meats, boxes of produce from CSA farms in your area that'll ship to you into this upcoming year.
That's awesome. That's really exciting.
Yeah, it's a lot, but good.
One last question, then I'll let you get back to building an empire. Where can people find you? Where do you want people to go?
Bubblegoods.com, get those pizza crackers, like shop around. We love feedback. We love when people drop reviews on the products that they try. It means a lot to the brands. These are all brands that are across the US that are making waves in their space, that are reinventing things that should be in your pantry. So yeah, check us out on Instagram, at Bubblegoods. We do a ton with like giveaways. We love to cross promote. If like anyone listening has a brand, we'd love for you to like get on board. Check out our clean label standards. We have a fair amount of people that interface with us and they're like, hey, I have this like reinvented product. And they're like, actually, I should take that out of my product. Why is that in there? They kind of also rethink it before bringing it to us. So, check that out. And I'm sure you'll only be hearing more of us. So yeah, follow now.
I love that for you. I love that. Jess, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, anytime. Anytime I can push my agenda, Phil.
Done.
Okay?
We're done.
Talk about Bubble, I'm there.
Cool. Noted. Awesome. That was awesome. That's great.